Hey girl, hey, I am so excited to have you here. I am Dr. Stephanie Lynn, and I welcome you into my home. I pray all is well with you this week. I can't wait to share with you what I have in this episode. So today, we're going to take just a deeper dive into the topics that I spoke about last week. I was very transparent. I was very open in my own personal healing journey. I talked about the family trauma that I was basically born into. I've talked about religious trauma. I talked about overeating, using eating to cope with the ugly parts of myself. I talked about the dark night of the soul. I talked about a lot. I literally opened up my entire life for y'all. And the reason why I did that is because, number one, I want you to know that I'm a real person that has gone through hell and back. And I also want to give you the courage that if I can do it, you can do it too. Now, the good thing about me sharing my story, and the good thing about me really saying yes to God, pulling me out to really teach in this topic, is that I've done it all. I've been in talk therapy. I've been under hypnosis. I've done acupuncture. You name it. I have done it. So I know it works and I know it doesn't work. And I also am smart enough to listen to the yielding of the Holy Ghost and to watch technology, y'all. AI is going to take over. And in 10 years, this will not be the same world. Definitely not the same United States that we live in. I firmly believe that the DSM, that is the book that houses all of the mental disorders, they're going to create a robot that's going to memorize that book and will be able to put you on a scan and will be able to tell you everything that is wrong with you. But what it will never be is a human. It'll never bleed when it's cut. It doesn't have a soul. It doesn't have that inner connectivity that we have. It doesn't have energy. And so the modalities that I teach and the strategies and stuff that I teach are for those of us that have soul, those of us that are a part of the cycle of life, naturally a part of the cycle of life with no human intervention. And so I say all that to say the subconscious reprogramming techniques that I specialize in are the wave of the future. It's the healing of the future. And I know I sound crazy. Trust me, I know. Because who's talking about subconscious reprogramming? Nobody. Everybody's telling you to conferences and everyone's telling you to go to talk therapy, and those things work, but they only work for a moment in time. They only work on one part of the psyche. They don't work on all parts of the body. We are mind, body, and spirit all in the same. And so the modalities that I've come across and that I've invested in are the same modalities that healed me in all of the areas I spoke of. So last week I told you that I started with my physical journey. I started with my spirit, and then I went into my spiritual journey, my mental journey, and then my emotional. So I've come full circle. I've completely come full circle. And while my journey started with my physical, your journey may start with your spiritual awakening or your mental healing. But anybody can have a journey, and it can take it does not have to look like mine. But the solution to achieving a holistic healing is in subconscious reprogramming. The Bible literally says, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. It does not say be transformed by the healing of your body. No, healing is healing. Physical healing is physical healing. It does not say be transformed by controlling your emotions. No, because when you transform your mind then controls everything else that happens. Because the mind is controlling you now. You just aren't aware of it. But if you reprogram the subconscious, you then become aware on a subconscious level that then creates the ability for you to create consciously while having different beliefs, different thoughts, different meanings on things that are more truth-based and not based in negative experiences, hurtful experiences, traumatic experiences. That's the beauty of this work, guys. And so I really want to spend some time on subconscious reprogramming because I want you to understand what that is when I say it. So imagine your brain is like an operating system. Imagine a computer. You have the hard drive, which is the actual computer, and then you have the operating system, which is going to be your Microsoft operating system if you're a Mac, and then your soft memory is like your RAM, what it uses to run, and then all the processes that run behind the scene. Well, your brain works like that. It absolutely works like that. If I reach my hand out to grab a glass of water, my arm is the physical thing that's going to grab the water. My mind is automatically telling my elbow, my hand, the blood is flowing through my veins. I don't have to consciously say, okay, elbow, reach out, arm, stretch, hand, grab water, bring to face. That's not the conscious thought, but that is 100% the subconscious programming that is being acted out physically with my hand. And so I would argue that healing is very simple. We've got to pluck out the subconscious programming that is making you believe that you are unworthy, unloved, and that you are different, and that what you have is not available, what you want is not available to you. Those are the core unmet needs. We need to reprogram that thinking to programming it to what God says. What is the actual truth about who you are? That you are made in His image and His likeness, that you are fully capable of doing anything that you put your mind to, and that you are lovable, and that everything that you desire desires you. But that those would not just be words on a page, but that they would be actual conscious beliefs that you live your life based on. And I love talk therapy, but that can't pluck out that level of programming. I love acupuncture. That's not going to get into the recesses of your memories. Assess the meaning that you've put on those memories, which has now constructed the lens through which you look through life. And so the subconscious reprogramming is the lane that I'm in. It's the lane that God has placed me in, because it is a lane that literally does what the Bible says. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Because as a man thinketh, so is he. So that's really the simplest explanation of subconscious reprogramming that I can offer, that makes sense, and that we're not getting into ethereal terms and metaphysical terms, and this turns into a boring podcast. But I did want to take one episode and do just a little bit of education about subconscious programming and the importance of attacking those thoughts. Another component of that is have you ever heard the saying, once you learn how to ride a bike, you never forget? You may have to practice, but you never forget how to ride a bike. The reason why you never forget how to ride a bike is because you have commands, or you have engrams that are planted in your brain. And so once a command is created, you don't have to do anything. It is a command. It automatically happens. That's why you have muscle memory. That's why all of these things just automatically happen, because once your body is programmed one time, once the brain has it programmed one time, it's in there. It's in there until you what? Change the programming. You getting it? You got it? Great. And so what we seek to do with these healing modalities is reprogram the commands, reprogram the thoughts, and literally recreate the belief system that you're using to live your life. And it sounds like this whole medical and this woo-woo task, but it's really, really, really quite simple. It's really quite simple. And I have some processes that I take you through when you come into coaching, when you come into community with me, that literally do it for you. You do the work. You have to do the work. You have to follow my guidance. But if you do it, you change your mind. And then you change your life. You change. You're then able to control your emotions, and your emotions don't control you. You then have access to the potential of things. You then become a glass half full person instead of a glass half empty person. And nobody likes those people, trust me. So let me give you some homework. I gave you 3 strategies last week that you can do to help you get some clarity around your personal journey. Let me give you some homework so that we can start this subconscious programming journey together. I want you to make a list. I want you to make a T list where you put the title at the top and then you make a line down the middle of the page. On the left side, I want you to make a list of all of the traumatic incidences that you can remember that come to mind. A traumatic incident is something that has an incident that has high negative emotion that is backed by a lie. Now, let me give you some examples. A traumatic incident can be, abuse, but it can also be getting a new job. It could also be losing a job. It could also be moving voluntarily or involuntarily. It could be having a baby. It could be adoption. It could be any of those things that have high emotions attached to it. It could be, losing your favorite family heirloom. I remember one time I dropped one of my mother's favorite glasses. And oh my goodness, for the longest, I just thought that I couldn't be trusted with important things. It could be something like that. I want you to write them all down on the left-hand side. And then on the right-hand side, I want you to describe how the incident has shaped how you think. The example that I just gave, I dropped an heirloom. And for a long time, I believed that I couldn't be trusted with important things. Write down those traumatic incidences and how they affected you. Another one that I don't get into in this particular episode, but I will in future episodes, is my core trauma is abandonment. And so when I was young, my father and my mother divorced. Well, when my father met his new wife, her kids were grown. And I literally remember this woman saying, I'm not raising any more children. And so she came into my dad's house and I had a strawberry shortcake room. I had everything. I had the sconces on the wall. I had the everything, y'all. It was strawberry shortcake down. I'm telling my age, good God. But it was strawberry shortcake down. And that lady took all of that shit out of the room, put it in the attic. I will never forget this day as long as I live. I called my mom. And I said, Mom, come get me. This lady took all my stuff. I'm crying. I was literally sitting outside on the suitcase. I remember those hard brown suitcases that would click at the top. I was sitting on that. And do you know that in that moment, I decided, let me tell you how strong a command is and how strong a negative. And when that negative experience gets implanted, it is like, it's glue. It's on there. It's like eye glue. It's like eyelash glue. You got to really get that off. I sat there and in that moment I decided, number 1, that my dad didn't love me. Number 2, that he abandoned me for his wife because how could you let her take my room stuff? And number 3, that they didn't want me a part of their family. Do you think, look at how that one incident, how a strawberry shortcake being removed in my 8-year-old mind created those 3 very, 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 very negative commands. That then seeped into every one of my relationships. It seeped into my family, me not trusting my family, me always feeling like I was the black sheep when there was an incident that I created a meaning around that then changed the way I viewed life. This stuff is serious, y'all. You gotta do this work and you gotta be honest with yourself. So that's the homework that I want you to do. And then after you do that homework, if you decide that this is some work that you're really ready to do, go to my website, traumafreesociety.com. As soon as you pull it up, there's going to be a yellow button that says book a discovery call with Stephanie. Book a call with me. Come into one of my group calls. Let's talk about it. Let's see how we can get you some help so that you can not only look healed, but be healed. It is my plum pleasure. It has been my plum pleasure to spend this time with you. I hope to see you in the next episode. Have a wonderful day, night, morning, or evening. Take care.